Hello friends and neighbors, welcome to Gentry Vintage. I'm Josh, your host. I hope this video finds you well. The March weather has moved back in temporarily. We were in the mid upper 70s, I believe, all week this past week. I think we hit 80 on Thursday. I know we hit 80 on Friday. And then late Friday night, early Saturday morning, bunch of rain and hail and thunder, lightning, lots of wind, and some scattered tornadoes and stuff moved through. And it rained pretty much all day yesterday, all last night, off and on this morning. This morning the sun was kind of in and out. It rained some, sun come out. But we went from 70s, now I think we're 51, 52 currently, and it's about 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. It's going to be in the 50s tomorrow, and then jump back up into the 70s, storm again, and I think even off in the low 60s or something. I don't even remember, but typical, early spring weather for Kentucky. I love this time of year though. Starts getting warm and you still get a little bit of coolness and, maybe a cold day here and there, but I love it. Just a sign of the warm weather coming in. My favorite time of year is October, but I'd say April into May. I love that time of year too. Of course I enjoy summertime. I just hate the humidity, especially the older I get. The older I get, I do okay with the heat. It's the humidity I just can't tolerate. Still pretty windy out there now. I don't know if you can hear the wind chimes in the background outside. I'm sorry. Today I am smoking a new to me pipe. This was a gift from Old Adirondack Codger. This is a CC Paris is what's stamped on it. I don't know, is it this? It's this side. I don't know if you'll be able to make out the stamping on there or not, but it's a CC Paris. I don't know anything about this brand. It's a beefy pipe. It's not a real big pipe, but it's got some weight to it. The band here, I don't know if that's original to the pipe or not. It is not currently attached. It's got a little, yeah, there it is. I can't tell if it's a hole like where a tiny set screw would have been, or if it's a indentation. I could just be a dent, to be honest with you. I can't tell. I'd have to get my magnifier from my phone, and I didn't bring my phone out here. Well, my other phone. But it could be original to the pipe. I don't know. I like the way it looks on there. But yeah, I don't know anything about these. If anybody does, comment down below. Let me know what you know. I don't care about monetary value or anything like that, but I would be curious about the date range of this. I always like knowing, especially with the older estate pipes, I always like knowing the year range, approximate age of them. So if you know, let me know. And in it today, we are smoking some 2021 HH Pure Virginia. I ordered a couple new blends this past week. Hopefully they'll be in a couple days. 2 blends that I've been wanting to try for a while. And as soon as I get them, I'll try them with you and we'll discuss them. One of them is one that was in and out of stock for a little while for whatever reason. And it came back into stock. And I finally snagged me a tin of it. some other blend that I was trying to snag. I got an email the other day that my Wessex Burley Flake, Slice Flake, whatever it is, was back in stock. And once again, when I logged in to try to snag some of that, it was already sold out. So it's 2 times in a row I've missed out on the Wessex Burley Slice Flake, whatever it is. But I'll get some eventually. I smoked my last bowl that I had of it last night. Excuse me. Nothing like sucking a little moisture through the stem there. Once again, I always say I should bring pipe cleaners out here, and I didn't. This is my first time smoking this pipe. I was worried that it might have a little ghosting because it had an odor like someone had smoked a specific blend through it quite a bit. I couldn't really place what that was, but I think it had been cleaned prior to me getting it, but of course I cleaned it again and sanitized it and everything, but it just had that odor. But so far it doesn't, I mean, I almost said Burley Flake. The HH Pure Virginia, I can actually tell that's what it is. So, so far so good. This stuff kind of smells good. The wife says it smells awful, the room note, but there's some, I kind of like the room note of this. My mom was up here a couple weeks ago, and I was sitting in the living room and I was smoking some Elizabethan mixture. And she was sitting over there and she said, "What are you smoking?" I told her what it was. She said, "That stuff smells rancid." I said, "I kind of like the smell of it." Well, friends, this coming week will be my 10-year anniversary at my job. My, how time flies. It definitely does not seem like it's been 10 years, but it has. And this past week, I've been doing a lot of thinking. And it's time for moving on. As I've mentioned before, our new manager is absolutely wonderful. Can't say enough good about him. Just great guy. Has just worked wonders with our place, and just the morale's turned around. I mean, it's just, he has been a godsend for sure. But with all that said, I'm almost 40 years old, and my job, my specific job, is extremely physically demanding. And Josh's bones are starting to feel it. It's wearing me down. And when I originally took this job, I didn't plan on being there long. I was relatively new to Louisville, and I was trying to find a job and get back into the funeral business, or get back into car stuff. So I didn't plan on staying there. This was a job just to pay the bills until I found something better to move on. And I ended up taking a job at a local funeral home part-time. And I was working with the manager, and we got to know each other pretty good and everything. And he was trying to get me on full-time as an apprentice so I could work towards getting my license. And he even helped to get a speech program installed on one of the office computers so I could start learning all the programs and stuff they use in the offices in the office, and trying to work in towards getting me into an apprenticeship. Apprenticeship, you know, a licensed director has to be the one you apprentice under. He was a licensed director and was the manager, and unfortunately, this particular funeral home, like most around here, are owned by the same company, a corporate company out of Texas. But I won't get started on them. But anywho, in the middle of trying to get me my foot in the door and get into a full-time apprenticeship, which I left that out. Sorry. So you have to do an apprenticeship in the state of Kentucky. Different states have different laws with funeral service, but with Kentucky, to do an apprenticeship, you have to do it under a licensed director, and it has to be approved by the state board and everything. And then they ever so often you have to go in and meet with the state board and blah 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 and all that. And there's obviously things you have to accomplish during your apprenticeship tasks that you have to be doing and so forth. But it's almost like being in college and working at the same time. But anywho, in the middle of trying to do all this, my manager decided that it was time for him to kind of step back and move more into a part-time role. And when he did, he basically lost his power, if you will, his authority. He didn't have as much say-so anymore because he stepped down from the manager's position. Even though he had worked for the company for years and years and years, someone else stepped into his place and took over, and suddenly he just didn't have any clout whatsoever. And he basically had the freedom to work when he wanted to, but he didn't have any say-so over anything. And they decided to hire an apprentice. That was not me. And more than likely, that apprentice was either a close friend or a family member of someone else in management. That's usually how it goes, and especially in that business. But they stopped calling me to work. Hadn't heard from them in months, and then all of a sudden on Christmas morning, about 10 a.m. on Christmas morning, a few years ago, they called me. I didn't answer the phone because I knew why they were calling. No one else would answer the phone on Christmas morning, so my name was still on the list because I was technically still employed with them. And so they called me because no one else would answer. And old Josh wasn't going to do that. You don't call me for months, and I'm not going in on Christmas. No. It'd been different if I was still currently working and everything, and a family needed me or something. I would have. I've worked visitations on Christmas Eve, but yeah, Christmas morning, you only called me because you were running down a list of people that wouldn't answer the phone. But anywho, yeah. So my job is I work in manufacturing, and we do military contracts. And being government, that's all I'm going to say about that. But like I said, my job is very physically demanding. On top of that, my vision's not getting any better. It's actually doing the opposite. And I was telling the wife last night, I said, not only am I just physically exhausted every day, but straining to see, doing my job and straining to see to keep myself from getting injured and so forth is even more exhausting. I've been getting more eye strain, headaches, and so forth because I've been trying to strain to see so much. But it's just wearing me down, and straining to see so much, I'm sure, is not helping my eyes either. But Yeah, it's time to move on. There's a couple other people I work with. There's one guy well, there's two guys still there. One guy has physically, he is unable to do what I do anymore. He's in his early 60s and has some health issues. So he's had to step down into a different position. And there's another guy I work with who's kind of in the same boat as me. He's in his mid 50s, and we were talking the other day, and he said, Josh, he said, I don't know how much longer I can do this. He said, it's killing me. He's starting to have some health issues, and a lot of it's due to the work that we're doing. But yeah, unfortunately, there's nowhere else to move up to in my job. If I were to do a different position where I currently work, I'd basically have to be stepping down, not up. And I don't really care to do that. But my other concern is the other positions I would probably have to step down to might be less pay. And I don't want to do that either. But it's time to find a new career. I don't want to say a new job. I want to find a new career. One lady that I work with has been talking about looking for another job. And she's worked there longer than me, but she's been looking into another job, and she was trying to tell me I should look into where she's trying to go. I said, no. I said, if I leave this job, I don't want to go to another place doing basically the same type of work that I'm doing. I don't want to do another job in manufacturing. If I leave there, my goal is to move into a career, not a job. I want to move into a career of something that I love, something I'm passionate about, something that I get up every morning and want to do. Not something I wake up every morning and, even if I wake up in the morning and I'm ready to rip and roar and go, the thought of how physically exhausting it is kind of makes you dread it. But I want to be one of those people that gets to get up every morning and gets to do what I love, and at least something that I enjoy doing. Unfortunately, when you're visually impaired, people just aren't willing to take that risk. Doesn't matter how educated you are, how qualified you are. For the most part, people are just not willing to take that risk on you. And I can't afford to get into a job to where I get in there in 6 months, they get nervous about a liability issue or something, and then they come to me and say, well, Josh, you're doing a great job and everything, but it's just not working out. It's too hard for a person in my position to find a good job. I know many of blind people that are highly educated, highly skilled, and can't find a job for nothing because of that reason. People just don't want to take that risk. Or they have that mindset that, oh, he's blind, he can't do this or he can't do that, and that's not always the case. I know some blind people that, like I said, that are extremely skilled and extremely educated. My ultimate goal is to own my own business. Always has been. Financially, I'm not in a position to do that right now. But my ultimate goal is to own my own business. One day that will come. If nothing else, I'd like to at least get into a job where I'm not so physically exhausted and drained when I come home from work. And I could at least maybe get a small side business up and going a little bit and work my way towards that goal of having my own business. But I just got to pray about it. The right thing will come along. You just got to pray about it. This HH Pure Virginia is not wanting to stay lit today. Sure does taste good though. I forgot. I haven't smoked this since probably back in the summer, and I forgot how good this tastes. It's a shame I only have one jar of it. But that's okay, because I'm much more of a Burley smoker than I am a Virginia smoker. Speaking of which, I smoked the last of my HH Burley Flake. I think I just said this. Did I say this earlier? I smoked the last of my HH Burley Flake the other night in the jar that I had. And now I'm trying to decide if I want to pop up in a tin or pull me a flake out of the pound that I have in a jar. I'm kind of thinking maybe just pull a flake out of the pound in the jar and not crack a tin open, but I don't know. I might make that decision tonight, because some HH Burley Flakes sure do sound good tonight. For me, that's just a good comfort blend, especially after a good hearty supper and winding down for the evening. That's just for me, it's a good blend that I like to enjoy in the evenings. So anywho, yeah, obviously I'm not going to quit my job, but I am definitely going to start looking for other avenues. It's still March, so I'm gonna still say it's a new year. It's still a new year, and it's time for changes, life changes, and I'm almost 40 years old, and it's time to establish my own career path. I feel good that I've worked at my job for 10 years. Not a lot of people nowadays can say they've worked at a job for 10 years. So I feel proud that I've been there for 10 years. And I've done several different things in that environment. And but I have worked my way up to there's nowhere else to go. Unless you're management, and we just have a manager, a supervisor, and an HR person, and they ain't going nowhere, and I wouldn't want their jobs anyway. No sirree. I'm not a sit at a desk on a computer or on a phone kind of person. There's a body shop not too far from me that a buddy of mine that I work with lives out here in the same area that I live in. And he said there's this body shop that's been around for years. And I know the guy's kind of older now. I don't know if he's got a son or anything that's in it, but he used to work on a lot of old cars. I don't know if he does anymore or not. I know a lot of body shops and mechanic shops are trying to get away from the old car stuff, but I thought about trying to talk to him, but I've been out of doing body work for so long. That's what my education is in. I am certified in auto body collision repair, but once again, that's one of them environments that people feel that you are endangered when you're visually impaired. You're an insurance liability. And it makes me nervous too, trying to go to work for somebody that's a kind of a small business like that as well, because it might be a little unstable. I don't want to get into somewhere that's a small business like that, and then, like I said, end up having somebody say, "Oh, you're doing a great job and everything, but I can't afford to keep you," or "I'm ready to retire, and I'm shutting the doors, at the end of this year, or something, something like that. But I don't know. I feel bad we didn't make it to church this morning. It was just so nasty outside this morning. We just didn't get out in it. But I will get online and watch today's service. I did not do that this morning, but maybe this evening I'll pull it up and we'll watch this morning's church service. Got a little moisture coming out there. Well, friends, I believe that's about all I got for now. Stay tuned. If these new blends come in this week, I will definitely be reviewing them with you. I'm excited to try them, and I'm excited to share that with you. So please do stay tuned, and until next time, I wish blessings for all, and lots of luck to you and yours.